Nda, welcome to another episode of Soccezone Xtra. Nne, ndifi phumuzo manenje. Ndiko chimbra na coach Simphiwe Dludlu, warmini.
Rovu wakakati awuna rikotakala ngamanda sisajabule kanjalo sithi happy youth month to all of you South Africans. Let's make sure we do our 100 hours 200 hours, all the hours you can do so that you serve somebody. Just even saying hi to somebody, you are serving them. Putting a smile on somebody's face, you are serving them as well. Tina silage namhlanje sizoseva everything that speaks football. Bafana had a game.
Hey.
There were playoffs and football galore in Africa.
Yeah, when you're looking at the week that just went by, Bafana, I thought a good performance, but not a good result. Swallows, I thought that they threw it away because they had it in their own hands. Now they don't have it in their own hands anymore because they need to go and play Tuks, and Tuks is flying, coach.
Tuks is flying because they went on to correct their mistakes, and coming into the game against the Swallows, they'll be having even more impetus because they realized Guti Swallows ama weakness wabagupi. Cape Town All-Stars actually exposed both teams. They exposed Swallows. They also exposed weaknesses with Tuks. So Tuks also is for them to make sure which they go in wanting to win the game. Because Pomozo, if you think about it, is Swallows really showing which they want to stay in the PSL?
Hey, Nyazu, you are passionate about that. Marastali siye ne Morocco kala. Nkala siye Morocco kala, and when masiye Morocco, I need you to look at the stats. Now you are looking at the stats and looking at 63 ball position, coach. And with that 63 ball position, they create 29 opportunities. That is Morocco. 10 shots on target. Bafana, 36% ball position. 5 opportunities that they created, only 1 on target, and that 1 on target is the only goal that we scored in the game.
It's the only goal we scored. Actually, goalkeeper where Morocco right now, he doesn't have any saves because it's the only ball that went in on target. There was nothing else. Everything else was off target, and off target is 5 attempts. And those 5 attempts, they only gave us 2 corners. And those corners, we didn't actually force them to make errors. We didn't get into the final third as much as we would have wanted to because on paper, we had players that could run all day. But did we use the speed? Did we use the intelligence to get behind that Morocco defense that was always pushing up Ngalea formation? Did we do enough?
I thought Bafana were playing in an unusual formation on the day. Usually we know Bafana playing with a back 4. This time they played with a back 3 with 2 wing backs. Some people are saying they played with a back 5 with 3 in midfield and 2 up top. So that formation that Bafana played, how did you feel about it? Did you feel it was defensive? Did you feel that we had the tactical flexibility to change formations during the game without changing personnel? How did you feel about the formation?
Already when you see 3 center backs, it means the coach is anticipating crosses that are coming in. And unfortunately, even the 3 center backs that were defending there, they didn't deal with all the crosses that were coming in. But Ronin was the one that was getting at the end of those crosses that were coming in because most of the times we saw our wing backs being pushed back. And talking about being pushed back, you look at South Africa in this moment, they were trying to build up from the back, and unfortunately, we lost possession in our own half.
What I want to highlight here is how we're trying to build from the back. The ball goes to Laila. Unfortunately, Goodman Musele loses the ball, and it gives Al Nasri an opportunity to then have a shot at Ronan Williams. I thought his positioning was great in this game. One thing that he does well, he stays on his feet for as long as possible, waits for the striker to then commit, and this reflex save, he's also pairing the ball to the side, which was great.
And in him doing that, he already showed us that he's going to be the last line of defense. And it's just unfortunate that every time now we are calling on him to be stepping up, where else his defenders could be doing more to make sure that when he catches the ball, he's launching attacks. But instead, every time he went out, he was going out to make a save, at least to get a corner, instead of letting it go through. You look at these moments here with 5 at the back. Remember, I mentioned it, Pumuzo, to say with 5 at the back, you're expecting to stop the crosses from coming in.
If you pause it there, if you take it slightly back, I just want to take it slightly back to be able to highlight what we're speaking about. You can pause it there. Now, Hakimi has played the ball inside. Now, let's look at the number of yellow jerseys around the ball. We have got 5. They only have 3. But we have got the numerical advantage around the ball, but we are not marking We are not open stance. We don't see our opponent and the ball. All we are seeing as Bafana is only the ball. Look at Hakimi continuing with this run, coach.
And in this moment as well, you are asking yourself, why is everybody not shifting to close these gaps? Again, the striker could have just tapped it in because we are defending in patches. There's 3 that's there, there's 5 that's here. We are defending in isolation. And and this is why we are saying baiting. They would isolate Lake, make sure Udila Nama 2v1, and Phillies was not getting close enough. Look at this shot again. Nobody's pressing on the ball. We are just standing and watching. Nobody's pressing on the ball to say, take a shot away from goal. Look at that. We are always late getting into in front of the ball, trying to defend or delay the ball carrier.
You're looking at the social factor between the back 3. They've never played together at Bafana. Kekani making his debut. Looking at Felix making his debut. When you're looking at Pete, only playing in his 4th game for Bafana. So the understanding and the cohesion between the back 3 was not there. The other thing that made me a little bit unhappy when I was watching the game is that the distance between the wing backs, I'm talking about Laila K and Felix on the left-hand side, Kekani and Mudau on the right-hand side, the gaps were too big. That's why Morocco were able to find spaces in between the left center back and Lake. In this instance, look at Hakimi again. Hakimi is on the ball, but look, after he plays that ball, Lake needs to follow him. Lake needs to follow him. He's late in terms of reacting to follow him. And this is a modus operandi that Bafana had seen. They are supposed to anticipate it, to say every time Hakimi has the ball, he's looking for a wall pass, and then he continues with this run. Bafana did not correct that. Look at that instance. It's 3 Bafana players. Hakimi alone is able to receive the ball. We were just fortunate that in that instance, they did not get it on target with Tariq.
Pomutso, the question I have is that were we playing with 5 at the back or were we playing with 3 at the back? Because right now, were we forced to play with 5 at the back where our wing backs could not even get to the center line and be able to go forward. And this is one of those moments because Mudau goes there to press on the ball, and there's still a shot that comes in because nobody's covering him, and nobody covering him, it means we are compact and we have numbers inside waiting for that cross to come in. But at the same time, we don't deal with that pass that comes inside because Mudau has done his job. He says, he presses the winger and says, go back. The winger goes back and crosses the ball in, but there's nobody really dealing with it and anticipating to say, nah, cross let's deal with it and clean up with height and distance.
The key here, coach, is tactical flexibility. When we are in attack or offensive, we have 3 at the back. Mudau becomes a wing back and Lake becomes a wing back. So when we attack, we've got 3 at the back. But when we defend, we've got 5 at the back because Mudau has to drop back, Lake has to drop back. So you've got the 5, including the 3 center backs. You also have Musele and also Uyaya, Usitole, that drops back. So we had 7 players behind the ball at all times. The problem here was not the numerical advantage. The problem here was the commitment and the responsibility of the players because at times we had 5 players around the ball against 2. Nobody takes responsibility. Hakimi is able to play the ball inside and then go get it at the wing. Also, the distances between the back 5 was also, the distances were too big. That's why Morocco were able to find the spaces.
Also, it speaks to the principles of defending because if one presses, there needs to be cover behind. We didn't see that a lot, and that's what you highlighted as well to say. Phillies and Lake, we didn't see pressing and covering from behind the balance and making sure then we are taking care of the depth. Even on the right side, probably the right side was a little bit better because you would see Mudau go and you'd see Grant getting closer to him. And if all of that was happening in sync, then we wouldn't be seeing the score. Because then it means Morocco wouldn't be able to score. But in this case, they're able to separate us even further.
This Felix is playing in his first game for his country. It is his first cap. On the other side, Grant Kekan, it's his first cap. But lucky for Grant Kekan, he's playing alongside his teammate at Mamelodi Sundowns, Zuzu Mudau, also only making his 3rd cap for Bafana. So the inexperience in the back 5 was there to be seen because nobody was taking charge, no one was communicating, was backing out the instruction to say move left shoulder, press, drop back. That thing was not happening, and we expected Pete to be the man that is doing it. He was only making his 4th cap.
Silitolile Golu with that, starting like that. We started a bit shaky, and we started with the defensive organization here and then it means we had a plan to say we defend deep, and whenever we win the ball, let's play the first pass forward. And Yaya intercepts beautifully. Foster is at the right place at the right time, and he goes, looks up and hits a splendid shot. The goalkeeper stood no chance there. I'm also worried a bit. We were celebrating here. If you look at it here, he's going. Lodge is trying to get closer. That is Dau. But his run also is so slow. If he's going forward and anticipating and seeing, what if Ulai Luwilela? If Ulai Begawilela, nobody's there behind to help him. I understand also, Pumuzo, you mentioned Lodge could not sprint full on from the beginning because he was impeded in that moment where Yaya won the ball.
What I want to highlight, after this slow-mo, I would like us to go back to the moment so that we have the coaching moments that we want to highlight in the Bafana goal. If we go back to that moment, what we want to highlight is when Lodge falls down. Now, we're trying to go forward. Now when Mudau plays that ball back, look at Lodge trying to win that ball. If you pause it there, Lodge is down. Now, on the same line as the ref is Pesitao.
Yeah.
But look at the good anticipation from Usitole. When you roll it forward, look at the bite, the hunger from Sitole. He wins the ball. And as soon as he wins the ball, head up. If you pause it there, he's head up. He's looking for that deep pass. He's looking for Foster to be able to make that run. And funny enough, after the game, Foster says, Yaya said, you're going to score your first goal for Bafana today.
Wow.
And he gives the assist. He wins the ball in midfield. He plays it forward. Now, let's look at what Foster has in mind. One thing that he has in mind, remember, this young man is developed at Orlando Pirates, comes from the Orlando Pirates development team. Look at the use of his hands to protect the ball, to push away Hakimi. We're talking about a Hakimi here that plays in the Champions League. Hakimi that is playing for PSG in France, an experienced defender. Foster, in this instance, uses his body very well. He's a big boy. You're looking at a 21-year-old that is 1.88. And look at him using his hand against Hakim. He uses his hands well, and he puts the ball in the back of the net. A lot of people, coach, were criticizing him after the France game, after the Guinea game. He missed a lot of opportunities. In this game, the first opportunity he gets, he puts it in the back of the net.
This moment here, Pumuzo, should have told us as Bafana to say, it means the back four, Morocco, has some frailties. Because Hakim goes forward, it means then 3 stays or 2 stays because even Mosina goes up. Then we needed to explore those spaces. It means change in speed needed to be evident for us to say whenever the midfielders win the ball in transition, you sprint, you don't ask questions, which is what lacked in our transition from defense to attack.
One thing that we were doing, we were overloading one side. If you look at the way the goal comes in, Lodge is on the same side, Pesitao is on the same side. Who's giving us the width on the left-hand side? We're relying on the overload, trying to play small triangles and get out of situations. But if we had the technical discipline to know that Hakimi is always going on the overlap, let's put traps for him. Let him go. Let Dow then use the space that is leaving behind. But unfortunately, we did not do that enough. We did not put balls in behind their defense enough to be able to trouble them.
Yeah, talking about trouble, Morocco made sure to give us headache because you look at these moments, they were circulating the ball from one side to the other, which means they were changing point of attack as quickly as possible. If we struggled to deal with the final phase of defending, they picked up the second ball again here. If you look at it, they start the attack, win the second ball, and in this moment, you look at Mudau. He's 1v1 with his player. He says, okay, this is you and me, 1v1 here. He does his first duty of defending, forcing the winger back.
But now, let's highlight the distance between Mudau and also Kekani in the box. The distance is humongous. It's too big. And now let's look at the 3 center-backs, coach. They're also not picking anyone. Now, the key here would be Morocco has moved the ball from a pressure area to a non-pressure area. Now, they're changing a point of attack. The ball was on the right, it's now on the left-hand side. Now, when they change the point of attack, coach, I want you to take over here and tell us what happened next and what should happen.
And when they change point of attack, our center-backs are still standing in the same area. Nothing else happens. If we pause it in this moment, you are thinking maybe we are still in control. But the challenge here is that the 3 center-backs are not picking up. Actually, they're picking up one player. Lodge is trying to press on the ball. Musele is behind. Mudau, who was picking up 9, he says, okay, he's gone. He stops from there. In him stopping, I would have anticipated to say he's going to tell the center backs, he's going to say to Grant, he's going to say to Pete, he's going to say to Phillies, watch behind you. Even goalkeeper, but goalkeeper has his eyes on the ball. So ama defender la ebas tengisa kakhulu. Wonke ama defender la bayas tengisa.
The fault here, they are ball watching. They don't know where El Nasri is. They don't know. Amrabat has got the ball now. Look at Amrabat changing the point of attack. You're talking about an Amrabat here that plays his football for Fiorentina. When the ball is brought back, look at that cutback. Kekan is not picking. Pete is not picking. Felix is not picking. El Nasri says, thank you very much. He plays his football for Sevilla in Spain. Opportunities like that, he's not going to let them go, coach. He gets the goal that equalizes
and it's
for
two
Morocco.
of them there because El Nasri is there. Also, Tariq is there. And Tariq, if you think about it, he's the one that received the ball from the side to pass it to Amrabat, who plays that cross. So either way, if El Nasri begawile lapaya, Tariq is also there to finish, which means there was no correlation between all of our defenders to say, Mina mabangdlulile, where do I go from there? You know, because then mabangdlulile then needs, if all of us are shifting and we are compact enough, because the three center backs, they were super compact, but they were not picking up, they were not organizing. Nobody was saying, you go there, I'll cover here. You go there, I'll cover here. They were ball watching most of the time. And I think, even like I said earlier on, the crosses that were coming in, they dealt with some of them, but Williams got at the end of all of that because...
Usebenzisa the word compact.
Yeah.
Now, if you're playing in a back three, coach, do they need to be so compact, or the ones that are playing on the side needs to be a little bit watchful as to what is happening on the wing backs? Because I thought they were too compact in that instance. Grant could have at least moved to go help
they are
Mudau
are 2 meters, 3 meters apart from each other. So we are again speaking to what distances. If we are being compact, we are not saying be 2 meters close to each other unless you go wall and defend the free kick. But in this instance, they're supposed to be at least 5, 10 meters apart from each other so that if you go, I'm closer to cover you. Otherwise, if I don't cover you, you go 10 meters, you come back 15 meters. Instead of going 5, I cover the other 5. That was the biggest mistake that they were doing because now they were forcing Lake and Mudau to come back too far. And when they come back too far, there's nobody to cover them. So it distance away cover is the wing backs was a lot because 3, I'm assuming 3 at the back, Pumuzo says, the 2 center backs that, because Peter was centrally, Phillies and Grant were so open. And this...
Was Lake if you were sitting on that bench?
No. Bengeke ngimkhiphu lakhe bengizoyenza isiqiniseko sokuthi Phillies gets closer to him. We defend as a unit. If I miss the first ball, you pick up the second ball. Bengeke ngimkhiphe. There was a lot of things that we could have done differently. We could have been compact, all of us moving, shifting as a team. Because we were not shifting as a team, this resulted into us. Firstly, it starts with Matt losing possession in our own half again. Now they penalize us where Mudau is supposed to be, but it's not his fault because we won the ball and he was in transition going forward. Now, who was supposed to go there early on time? If Mudau goes, we've got 3 center backs. It means Grant needs to get closer and cover that area. Right now, Grant is not in that area. Look at this pass. This guy, Begangabambi Pola, nail polisher, pinpoint across it, and he was still going to find somebody there because we were not pressing hard enough in our defensive third. He red zone in defensive third, Pomozo.
This is where I saw the coach's influence because jersey number 10, Harriet, comes off the bench to combine with Al-Kabi, who also comes off the bench. He plays his football in Turkey for Hatayspor. But I want to go back to that goal, and when I go back to that goal, I want to highlight what Matt does. What could Matt have done in that second goal that Morocco scores? So if you pause it there. He has slipped. He has slipped. Yes, we acknowledge that he has slipped. Now, don't try to play the ball inside. Play the ball outside. Clear, take the ball out. Take the ball out, we recover. He doesn't take the ball out. He tries to find a run that is made by Usitole. When he does that, he actually gives a pass inside. It happens to any player. It happens to the best player. He tries to recover. If you pause it there, now, because Mart went down, it means that now Mudau is ill-positioned because he had made the run forward. He had made the run forward. Now, that space is exposed because of the mistake that is made by Mart. He will learn from this. And this is a player that I love a lot, hardly loses position. But at international level, When you make mistakes like that, that's where you'll find a player like Harry, who plays his football for Marseille in France. He gives the cross. The man that is meeting it plays his football for Turkey. So those players of Morocco are playing at the highest level. When you make mistakes like that and you're out of position, they will punish you. And that's how the goal came for Morocco with the second goal. Mart, I know you are watching. You will learn from this, my boy. Better there, take the ball out, the team regroups, and we get back into shape.
Pomozo, we spoke a lot about us being so compact in defense. I think the compactness also killed us in attack because we got the ball, we've got 3 center backs. It would have been so beautiful to say, when Mudau wins the ball and goes forward, you find Grant getting into that space. And when he gets into that space, it means in transition, we are ready. Rest defense, because 3 center backs, sina plus. Usually, uthola kusela center back I2. Me and you could go on about Bafana, but I hope that in the next game they'll be able to pick up points because it's only 3 teams that are in that group. Morocco and Liberia.
I just want to highlight a couple of things, Coach. If you look at Seis, the captain of Morocco, he has over 60 caps. He plays his football for Wolves in England. When you're looking at Hakimi, over 50 caps. He plays his football for PSG. You go to Amrabat in midfield. He has got over 35 caps for them. Those 3 players alone, they've got more caps than the whole Bafana squad.
But are we not building? That's what the coach said. He said we are building.
No, my bangisho nje kutama player 3.
It's experience against energy. And sometimes energy and being young and all of that can work for you because remember experience our tall is slashing. But you go and play, get bruises, you lose, you win, you draw, you fight. That's how you gain the experience. Because I feel with the squad it was a balanced squad because you had wingers in there, you had young players in there. Abomayo, who's only 23, Foster is 21. The 31-year-old is only Motwa because Williams is 30. You've got Aboloch 28, 27, 29. You've got 21-year-olds. Shongwane is 21. So let's see balance. The only thing that needed to happen was better preparation against a team that has shown us in the AFCON Wuti. They are brilliant. The coach is a mastermind. The players play overseas in teams that play Champions League week in, week out. We also have players that have the same caliber, but you are right when you say the experience of Bafana and playing in club level is not the same. How do you best prepare the team to make sure when they go meet such opposition in such competitions, do they have the right level of mind, heart, and a bit of experience that can push them to get results?
A player that impressed me, I think Kudiso Mudau had a brilliant game at right back, offensively and defensively. Another player that impressed me was Yaya Sithole in midfield. I thought he had the bite, with the eye for the running winger, the eye for the running striker. I thought he made a brilliant debut in midfield for Bafana. I think that is a find for me to see. He got a couple of call-ups, but he got injured. Couple of call-ups, had COVID, couldn't play. So Sithole, job well done. Mudau, job well done. Lyle Fosler, you get the opening goal to open his account at international level. I'm sure Amapagania are proud wherever they are. Simfake bot uphuma kule bot leli nami ebhotweni leli mina ngiphume kulo. So it's good to see him doing well.
It's good to see him doing well, and I just want to allude to this, Pomozo, to say when we are building, we need to make sure the building blocks and the foundation is solid. And for building here to be great, it needs to be consistent. If we are building and we keep chopping and changing players, we are never going to be, because ubegistina we are susu begisinyu logo foundation yakho ngeke ihlangane ngeke ikhuphuke nebond. So it's important for us to understand right now to say these young players, are we sticking with all of them, and we need to make sure that we play them in the right positions, use the right formation, because DNA...
What is the right formation?
The right formation is the formation that works according to our abilities of our player. And the competition... Did the
formation over the weekend talk to the strength of the players?
I don't think it did entirely.
Why?
And I'm saying this because Lyle and Mudau played on the correct positions where they played normally in their teams. Did we have the correct center backs playing there? In transition, when you say you're playing a 3-5-2, did you have a getaway car that have speed to say anything that you get when you defend and you play the ball there?
We are solid speed, Saka Loch no tau.
Yeah, ngiyasola.
Kanjani?
Nyasola, because there was never a moment where I saw them sprinting to say, play the ball over. They always wanted it to feed. And when Tau got the ball in space, he got in there, but never really showed aggressiveness to engage defenders. Because Hakimi, when he goes there, you need speed to neutralize him. To make sure that when he goes, not is letting motors I would must he shy motor silwini polo samala say ham. We're still gonna unpack this, but I want us to go to the playoffs, Pumuzo, because Swallows is at the verge of relegation or staying up, and Tuks is at the verge of coming back to the PSL or staying to compete with Led Africa.
I think it's going to be the big one during the week, because this is where you're going to see Tuks traveling to Swallows, and a draw would suit Tuks in this instance, because they are on top already. They've got an advantage in terms of goal difference, that is Tuks. So a draw means Tuks goes to the Elite League, DSTV Prem. If Swallows draw, they are going to Glad Africa. So that is the result. A draw, Tuks comes up, Swallows goes down. A win for Swallows will only keep their status. Only a win would make sure that Swallows keeps their status.
Yeah, I would want to know, did all the three teams show character in these playoffs to show Guti they want to come into, well, Swallows wants to stay in the DSTV Prem, or the two, Cape Town All Stars and Tuks, want to stay in the DSTV Prem. And we saw with the different games that have played. Somebody said, Cape Town All Stars, points, but they actually showed even more character when they played Tuks in the draw, and when they came up to play up against Swallows, and they ended up with a win. This is a team that you don't want to mess up when it comes to set pieces. So when this you don't you don't cause set pieces, especially in your defensive area.
No, that's a delightful ball that is flighted in. The experience Stoffels at the end of it, not the tallest of strikers, but the spring in his feet to be able to get to that. Litlavika trying to play from the back. He loses the ball goes to Ronaldo Marman. He unleashes an unstoppable shot. The mushosho usatibei, the goal ya manaka ene koriwa ene pala ngene Marman. Nichiko says Litlavika ukuzamo dribula chiko vamrau uke wini wa ball ene pala. Nichiko says ene pala ene la tackle ene kuitu anga Litlavika. Anga kono won a red card for tackle Elan. Mara Marman, good advantage play from the ref, because he plays an advantage. Yes, there is a foul, but he says advantage play. When he plays the advantage, the ball goes to Marman. Smizu Ronaldo. One touch to control. The second one, Aitanga Insananete, the goal ya Manakanaka.
I think it's the players also being aware, anticipating. But if you center back, you lose polo, it means move. Because when you attack, you become very disorganized. And I think kudos to the assistant coach where Cape Town All Stars, because head coach was not there. Last week we spoke about it and we said, how much of an impact will it be with the head coach not being there and the assistant coach coming in? And I said, if they've been working together the whole season, I know how you breathe, you should know how I breathe when we are working in a team. And I think it showed, it was evident, because this Cape Town All-Stars team, they didn't just stop there with that set piece. They went on to make sure which they fight for more and end up winning this game, which for me, it means they were clinical in their set pieces. They forced Swallows to make errors in areas where they knew which Swallows minds a mistake, we catch up and we capitalize on that.
I think you're looking at an experienced defender, Litlavika. He makes a mistake in the first goal that they score. It does not only end there. In the critical phase of the game, 90th minute, the ball comes in as a cross. He misjudges the flight of the ball, coach. When you misjudge the flight of the ball, why go with the hand? Because if you go with the hand, only one result is going to be given. It's going to be a penalty, because you're a defender. You're not allowed to use your hands. Yeah. In that instance, he misjudges the flight of the ball. He sees that it's not getting there. He uses his arm. There's a minute left on the clock. He handles the ball, and the ref is correct to say penalty. The experience in the view of Mdabuka goes through and slots the ball in the back of the net.
I think the biggest thing also for Litlavika, it's him losing his marker, because how he was defending, he didn't even see the player behind him, because he's just going facing the ball, and he just wants to clear that cross, but his body positioning is wrong in that moment, because him ending up with his arm up there, it means he doesn't even know what's happening behind him. But if he would have turned, be able to say, I deal with the cross, I can see my player and where I can clear the ball away, that could have been something for him. And this is a Litlabika who had a great season at Swallows, but unfortunate for them, they find themselves where they are, because we saw the subs in the game. When, I mean, Swallows scored their first goal in the 62nd minute. They scored first.
He's a very experienced defender. Do you think Litlabika, in the 90th minute, is still trying to prove a point? Do you think that he's still thinking about the mistake that led to the equalizer? What is going on through his mind?
I don't think he's thinking about that. He was late. I don't think he was thinking about that, because if you look at him there, he's facing the ball. His body positioning is not even looking to see where's the referee, where's the ball. He's only looking at the ball. He's not even seeing where's the opponent behind him. And unfortunate for him. The moment interesting for me, Pumuzo, because he gets a yellow card here. If and he would have gotten a yellow card, this would have been a red card for him.
But coach, kanjani? Isandla kanjani?
Hand of God.
Hand of God. This might be the hand that takes Swallows to Glen Africa.
Yeah, Pomozo, there's a lot of things that were not going well for Swallows on the day, because already you can see what Cape Town All Stars has technically superior players. A cross by Shai, it's a quality cross. Set pieces, it's a quality set piece. So you deal with the cross and make sure that it does not come in the round of play, because also goalkeeper Mompega Lapayana, he's unable to get to the ball because it's an in-swinger, it's curling away from him, so he couldn't get to it. All he could do was just to wait and say, if that ball comes in, let me try and catch it.
You are the coach at Swallows. Do you play Litlabika in the next game?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
If you are Dylan K, do you play Litlabika that costed the team 2 goals in the previous game? Your most experienced defender. Do you trust him in this crucial game and start him? Or do you bench him? Do you put him in the stands? What do you do?
Let's take it back. Why is he wearing the armband? Let's take it back there.
Leadership qualities.
Leadership qualities. And in this game, is this the game that defines how he's been playing since the whole playoff started? How he's been playing the whole league? You know why I'm saying why I wouldn't change him? If the coach changes him there, he's directly saying to him, uzlisile.
Maruzlisile.
Well, abanye bebakuphi makumele sidlale lapha. Because
I'm a striker.
Yeah.
First thing that happens when the game starts.
Yeah.
I'm the striker. The first thing I'm gonna do, letheni ulodlisayo, letheni man, lodlisayo.
And now more emotional intelligence, you'll be able to say, Ntwana, I think ukubonisa enke lakho uzoyidobha egrandstand. Lokungidlisa nginje. So
they need to play mind games.
Igai too, Pumuzo, to be quite honest. The coach, if he had a conversation with Litlabika after the game, Maseba Pegile and analyzing the match, to say, my man, few instances where this happened and that happened, and it resulted in Cape Town All Stars punishing us. Litlabika comes up and says, coach, whatever you decide, I'm here. Also, it's for Dylan Kerr to do an introspection, to say, what led to those mistakes? Is it decision making? Is it his attitude towards the game? What were the other defenders doing? How did we perform holistically as a team? Because if he then says, uzlisile nyakukhipha, he's going to lose a player there. And remember, Iswallows banking a change room as a whole.
And besides, you might lose a player, you might lose the status. You might lose a player, you might lose the status in this game that they're going to play.
Yeah.
Now you're asking yourself, he goes past 1, 2, third player, he loses the ball. They take it, they put it in the back of the net. 90th minute, you're expecting the most experienced men to be able to communicate, be open stance. Open stance, you see the ball, you see the opponent, and you deal with the ball. He only sees the ball, when he misjudges the height of the ball, yo, now ngumuntu la.
If he would have missed the ball and didn't touch it with the hand, Bakora, bozo play still.
Open stance. No way your opponent is good.
No, but I'm just asking, if he didn't catch it with his hand, we're still going to penalize him. I think the biggest question that we have right now, Pumuzo, is to say, how will Ikoche Swallows approach the next game? Because we also saw Ngama subs Wakona, we saw Mhlongo come in, Musonda come in, the same player. You take out Mahlati, who's a playmaker, who could be feeding those two guys there. You take him off. And in you doing that, it means you are saying we just want to kick everything forward. We don't want to be creative anymore. You also take out a defender. Yeah.
Okay. Mahlati, there's teams that want him. It's all in the media. Where is his mind? Magaman. In midfield, the man that scored the opening goal. Mamelodi Sundowns already speaking to him to say, come back to the mother team. We're loaning you elsewhere. We're taking you to Supersport. But all these things that are happening in the media, Solos has got so many players that are loaned there. Solos has got so many players that people want to buy them. Abu Matko in midfield. There's rumors is going. How do you deal with what is happening in the media? How do you keep your players focused on this crucial game against Tuks?
You have honest conversations to say, gents, I know good some of you probably have prospects, this, that. Let's save the status and then you can leave after. It's as simple as that. It's as clean as that.
No, my status is sivayilo or ngiyahamba mina. Mina ungifaka phi? Wangifaka kule.
Yeah, ngoba uyavaya, I think nathi sekumele sivaya bafethu.
No, before Svaya. Who is coming to the PSL? Before Svaya.
Tuks. Yeah.
Sibanyoni, Makubo,
Yeah.
and Co.
Yeah.
They're coming.
Yeah.
So basenza ama-game e-Tuks with PSL.
Yeah, the stripe generation sizowes laphaya. Sibabhekile ngalamakhala wabo. Red, blue and white sizabe silaphaya.
But I think they've really pushed well. That is Tuks. They lost the Glad Africa on 2 points. They've got a young team, exciting players like Abo Sibanyoni, Abo Makubo. You also go to Keegan Allen. Keegan Allen, the centre back. I also love him. Julius with the experience, having been a cheaper Mamelodi Sundowns. So for me, I'm also saying, do they park a double-decker bus, Tuks? Do they park a double-decker bus, or they just need a draw? What do you do as the Tuks coach? Do you go for the win?
I think they are gonna go for their true route one.
Route one.
Pump it forward. The coach, Mutaung, he's gonna be saying, gents, let's just pump it forward, win the second ball, and punish them. And against that slow defense here, Swallows, because it's only Solomons who's the fastest there.
It is slow. It is slow. Yeah. Score?
2-1.
2-1
to
Tuks?
Yeah.
0-0. Tuks coming up to the DSTV Premiership. That's just my opinion. What do you think? Speak to us on social media at theball27 on Twitter, at theball_27 on Instagram. I'm waiting for your comments, guys.
Bafethu siyabonga kakhulu ukuthi nihlale nathi. Mina nizongibamba lapha na Simphiwe Dludlu _ everywhere, all platforms, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Sila bafethu say leso sikhathi sithi siphuma kanje.
Uthi usisibongi unayo Instagram. Mawubhekile.
Ngicela ukuhamba.
Lo mama lo waseGomora una Instagram uyayazi.
Of course, Bongi GP.
Bongi GP.
Yeah.